lot of soul.
This is Bass Talk Live. Your host, Mark Jeffries and Matt Pangrack. BTL is brought to you by Lowrance, Lose, Strike King Lures, Bass Cat Boats, Ducket Fishing, Spro, AFCO, Big Bite Baits, Sunline, and TH Marine. BTL coming at you. Good Tuesday, everybody. Welcome once again to BTL Bass Talk Live, where we're going to talk bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Matthew, how you doing?
Good.
How was the traffic coming down today?
There was still some, but not much at all.
Yeah, traffic is dwindling a little bit on the highways. And, wow, we got a lot to talk about. I want to let everybody know. First, our scheduled guest, Mr. Hank Cherry, we had to reschedule him. So we have him scheduled for next Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, instead of today. There was some stuff going on, and don't even need to get into it, but we have him scheduled for next Wednesday. So instead, we're going to talk to a guy that we talked to a number of times on this show, had a good performance down at Lake Fork. We're going to have James Watson on to talk about his performance and his week and everything else going on.
Always up for an interview, so, Mr. Watson.
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to be quite entertaining. So we'll get to James Watson here in a few minutes. And, man, just the crazy times continue, man.
Yeah, so the show, well, we do the show live at 8:30 Central Time, so it gets over, 10 o'clock yesterday, since we went so long with Mr. Duke. And
yeah.
I have no energy drink in front of me to try to kind of even out my fervor during yesterday's show. I got a little excited there. Ken Duke on there. He can answer he has answers to all the questions I have.
Yeah.
But then my email started blowing up yesterday. And like I said, I realize this is tournament bass fishing. It is not the end of the world, but this is the sector that we live in, and this is what is affecting us. Just like all the other jobs, activities, concerts, everything, eating places are getting affected too. But I took a screenshot of my email inbox, and I sent it to a couple buddies and said, I've been doing this since 2007, 2008. And I said, I had never seen 4 consecutive emails like this. First one at 11:52 is Joe Opiger there from FLW. FLW shifts start date of the Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit there on Lake Martin. So they're fishing this morning.
Yeah.
So apparently, I'm not sure what the reason. They said to get home to their families quicker, but they canceled the off day in between. Instead of starting tomorrow, they're starting today. So they're fishing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, so everyone can get home by Sunday. Then the next one was FLW's COVID-19 update from FLW, where the Costa series have been postponed and all of the BFLs have been postponed, I believe, through April. I guess I have a screenshot, so I can't actually open it. But it affects like 2 or 3 of the Toyota series and like 7 or 8 BFLs.
A lot of BFLs.
And then the next one was the BASS Tournament Department at 225 Bass Central Open at Louisville Lake, postponed.
And we kind of broke that story yesterday.
It is actually official. And then the final one was from the Bass Nation president, Richard Minyard, with an urgent update about our Bass Nation qualifier on
Is it still on?
As of now, it is still on. However, there's no meeting. You have to go up and pay, and you can't go up and pay if there's people standing in line to pay and all that stuff. And then he'll text us all the details. Your co-angler is checking your live wells and your kill switch when you get on the water. And then when you come in to weigh in your fish. God, I hope I have something to weigh in. You have to stay in your boat, and someone will bring you down a bag so that there are no more than 10 people gathered up at the weigh-in trailer.
Now,
it's going to take a while.
Hang on a second. Is everybody going to have the same bag?
No.
Are you going
to... He said that they're following every precaution.
Well, everybody needs to have their own bag.
Yes. So
Richard, if you're listening, that needs to happen.
So that leads me to this, which I found, and I was wondering, like, Can we get arrested for going fishing if we have a shelter-in-place order?
That's not in place here in Oklahoma.
Well, I'm
yet.
saying it is in
Some places of the
California,
country. Yeah.
and San Francisco,
Yeah.
affected almost 7 million people.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know they said you could go out for essential stuff, and I'm like, but what the heck does a shelter in place? Like, if I'm towing my bass boat, can someone be like, I feel like this is non-essential going on right here? You know what I mean? What do you got to be
It
like?
might be, though.
I'm going out to get medicine, and I can't get it off the ball hitch.
Yeah. There
So
have it.
I looked at what is included, and I found this interesting. So I want to bring this up real quick. So here's the 5 things if you're in the shelter in place that you are allowed to go out.
Okay. Read
First
them off.
one, tasks essential to maintain health and safety, such as obtaining medicine or seeing a doctor.
Yeah.
Number 2, getting necessary service or supplies for themselves or their family or household members, such as getting food and supplies, pet food and supplies necessary for staying at home.
Yeah.
Now, this is number 3. This
Okay.
is what you're allowed to go out and do
All right.
during a shelter in place. Engaging in outdoor activity, such as walking, hiking, or running, provided that they maintain at least 6 feet of social distancing. To me, that says we can go fishing and not get arrested for it if this thing gets crazy, Mark.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would. Flying solo out there. I mean, even
If you have a partner with you.
yeah, as long as
A
you
family member, someone like that.
stay your distance apart.
Yeah.
I don't see why not.
So I found that to be very interesting.
Yeah. Good job on that. Finding
Number
it
4
out.
is caring for a family member. Number 3 is caring for elderly, minors, people
Yeah.
with disabilities, vulnerable person. And then there's some people who jobs that are essential aren't in the shelter in place. But I mean, basically it's the don't go out and party your face off around a bunch of other people like that's fried. And you can get like a misdemeanor and stuff during the shelter in place. They can throw you in jail.
Yeah.
They can fine you. But anyway, so those were the 5 things. So number 3 there, like I said, engaging in outdoor activity, such as walking, hiking, or running, provided that they maintain at least 6 feet of social distance. Heck,
Yeah.
I think we can have the tournaments. Alter the weigh-in like that, totally legal. Less than 10 people gathered at once.
agree.
You're maintaining your social space. I think we move on.
I agree.
So-
All right, a couple other things real quick. I want to throw this photo up that I received yesterday. Can you see that, Matthew?
Yes, it says we love BTL.
Yeah, here, let me get
Oh,
rid-
she's got a horse right there.
Oh, yeah. Look what else they have in this picture.
Oh, that's well, of course they love BTL. You send them a HDS Live, Mark.
Well, look, that is
A
Kevin.
bowling pin.
Yeah, that is Kevin, Kat, and Caden. And they were the winners of the sweepstakes or whatever you want to call it, of the HDS Live unit, the Lawrence unit. And I think they have all the subjects covered there,
They got
Matthew.
the barrel racing with the horse. There's the graph there, and then the bowling pin and the bowling ball.
How cool is that?
That's a cool photo, Mark.
That's very, very cool. So greatly appreciate them sending that picture in. And best of luck to you with that new unit from Lawrence. And once again, we greatly appreciate all the fans out there. And, we're up to 6,000 subscribers on YouTube now. We just surpassed the 6,000 mark.
Nice.
That's kinda cool.
I mean, we only started that, a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, we were on the late freight on that. Thanks to me. That was my bad, folks. I readily admit that I screwed that one up.
Yeah, Dave and I tried to start one, I think,
Yeah.
in 12 and 13 and
Yeah.
14 and 15. It resulted in a Jeffrey's meltdown. That was back.
That was
We
bad,
need
man.
people going to the website,
I
not
know,
YouTube. And
I
Dave's
know.
like, I don't know. I kind of work in this marketing. I think
Yeah.
YouTube. But anyway,
Yeah,
what
that was-
percentage? I mean, YouTube is just a small percentage of the listeners or viewers of the show.
Yeah.
Very small. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it kills data in some cases. But, if you're watching it on
Yeah.
a computer screen.
No, obviously our largest audience is on iTunes
Or Spotify or Google Play.
Yeah, all the other podcast
Where
platforms.
can we get it? Where can you get it?
It's all over the place.
Podomatic,
Yeah,
Spotify,
yeah,
Google Play,
yes.
iTunes,
Yeah,
YouTube,
yeah,
the website.
yeah. And then there's like 4 or 5 other podcast platforms that we suddenly appear on.
It just shows up.
Yeah,
Okay.
because of the feed that we send through Podomatic.
Is that a
which
pain in
our
the ass
platform.
to set all that up?
No. Podomatic, they take care of us, man.
What's easier, doing the XM show back in the day with Gary Giudice or doing
This.
the podcast?
This.
Really?
So much easier. Yeah, because you had time slots and fills and all this, required cutoffs that XM had during the day. And it's just, it's Really, really, really easy to do these days. All right, I got a couple other things, and we'll get to you. Here in Oklahoma, kind of a big deal. One of the largest team tournaments that we have here in Oklahoma, the Skeeter Trail, has been postponed at Lake Eufaula, and we're pretty good friends with the guy that runs that deal, Tim Reed.
Yeah, good dude.
He did everything he could to convince the city of Eufaula, hey, look, these are the precautions that we're going to take. This is how we're going to change the format. And the city of Eufaula said, nope, sorry, postponed.
Yeah,
done.
He actually sent us a text, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but part of it that was very interesting that he said was after listening to today's show, the decisions being made on the tournaments right now probably are not the organization's choice.
Yeah.
And he would know. He runs one of the big ones, and I believe they just had one.
Yeah.
Too on Lake Eufaula. So, he was talking about all the different formats that he would do to maintain the social distancing in the space and the staggered weigh-in and the launch and no meetings to actually... I mean, dude, don't you think during times like this it's good to get out?
Oh, I agree.
And
100%.
Focus on something else?
100%.
Because I'm trying to get ready for this Bass Nation on Texoma. It's the first one of the year. And now, granted, okay, it's not a major tournament. You're going to have 60 boats in it, right? But...
it's competition.
No, but it for the local guys like that, I mean, this gets you on the state team, which allows you to practice for the regional the next year, which allows you to get to the national championship, which the top 3 out of the 50 go to the Bassmaster Classic. The top one gets on the Elite Series. So in the grand scheme of things, it's a small state tournament, but I treat it like a Costa Series or an Open.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's been hard to get ready for it. It's been hard to get pumped up to get ready for this one, just with everything else that's going on.
And think about it, too. You're kind of in a somewhat unique situation because you don't have children. You don't have a wife. You don't have, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's and I don't have any of that stuff to worry about. I know. It's still on my mind.
Yeah. Yeah. But, well, we'll see what happens. All right, a couple other things. I have been trying to get people booked for the shows that we're going to do, the extended shows next week and the following week, and I'm still working on that, going to continue to work on that today. But in my research of doing some things yesterday, I noticed something really weird, Matt. Tommy Biffle, who one of the great storytellers in this game, he is no longer sponsored by Quantum. Did you know that?
No. What is it? Just not on his jersey?
Yeah, and then I looked on his bio on Major League Fishing, and it's not listed there either. But if there's one reel that came out from the Quantum line, besides the Zepco 33, that was kind of synonymous with an angler, what is that? What would that be?
Is that the blue reel with Tommy?
No.
The smoke?
The smoke. I mean, that was his baby.
Yeah.
And they're still making the smoke, dude.
Yeah, they had a big booth at the Bassmaster Classic.
They're still marketing the smoke. And I just think it's weird doing that whole thing without Tommy.
Yeah.
Tommy and the smoke reel kind of went together.
Yeah, and like KVD kind of went together. But I mean, I think that'll be a natural progression with the Strike King Lose deal. But a lot of different changes.
It's just really weird. It's one of those things that we see in this business over time where you have names that are synonymous with specific products, and then when they make that change right there just stuck out to me.
I agree. Let me ask you this. It was really weird. And we've talked about this off air. Endemic sponsors. Boat, motor, rods, reels, baits, line, sunglasses, all that.
Yeah.
Would you not agree that one of the toughest endemic sponsors to nail down, to get paid to use, and let's take boats out because everyone's got a different boat deal, and those are 50 to 80 grand, right?
Yeah.
Is a real sponsor.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot easier to get bait, lines, rods, sunglasses, all that stuff.
I agree.
Shoes.
Yeah, I agree.
Paid real sponsors are few and far between for the average, I mean, the pros.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys. Look at Brad. But I also know a lot of guys at the top end. Now I'm not talking like the Aaron Martins who's got his 74 Mitaniums lined up going, I re-spooled all of them till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Not a single nick in the bunch.
Yeah.
But as a whole, I think you see a lot of guys that are using They'll all use the same rod, they'll use the same bait and the same line, but hodgepodge of reels.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. All right. Somebody wanted to know, all the rodeos canceled?
Yep.
Matthew?
Yep.
Interesting. You can't really... Can you do that without a crowd? You could, couldn't you?
Yeah, well, 90% of the time they do, because there's barrel races and then rodeos. There's
so
two different
could you not
things.
have barrel
races?
racing?
Never have a crowd, but
Well,
still
that's what I'm saying.
a lot of everything has just been canceled across the board on that.
Okay.
And all those activities, like I said, I'm sure those are just the ones that we're involved with. I'm sure there's all sorts of other stuff, meets and youth sports and all that.
Yeah. A couple other things real quick. I do want to give everybody an update. As of right now, the MLF events remaining in the month of April are still on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We have not received word that anything is going to change from an MLF perspective. And I don't know what to say, Matthew. It's kind of the perfect storm. It's good.
If they can do it and take advantage of it, they'll be the only kid on the block.
And it's pretty cool to be able to watch some fishing while all this madness is taking place.
Speaking of which, the fishing, Thrift 2 for 3 made the final round at Lake Fork. He caught a 9.8 to jump up. He finished in 5th.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the weights are zeroed with Andy Montgomery leading the way. And I watched a little bit yesterday, and I'll be interested to see after this if this was true, but I believe he said he caught like no fish in practice, like no keepers, no
on Athens,
scoreable. No, on Fork.
Really?
He was fishing, and he's like, I am shocked to be in this position. He's like, I did not get a single fish over 2 pounds in practice. He's like, and then it just kind of happened.
Wow.
So he led the round yesterday with a 45-9 total. So the guys, the final round consists of MDJ. And who won the other round?
Hang on, I got it in my notes right here. Brandon Coulter.
Yeah, he smashed him.
Yeah,
MDJ,
over 100.
Brandon Coulter.
Yeah.
That's bad. I don't like that. I can't remember that because if I've watched the other guys fish, we should be, Coulter should be, oh my God, 100-something pounds, and now he's stuck with 0. That's one of the things I don't like about it. Takes out some of his shine, Mark.
Remember what Marty Stone said on this show. It's several different tournaments.
No, I know. So, Alton Jones Jr., Andy Montgomery, Brendan Coulter, Brent Chapman, Brian Thrift, Sprague, Atkins, Keith Poche, MDJ, and Ott Defo. So a lot of guys that were in this field that had fished a lot of Toyota Texas Bass Classics, that had fished a lot of tournaments back in the day on Lake Fork, that had guided on Lake Fork. A lot of Texans in this field that live around Lake Fork. And several of those guys came through. Jeff Sprague, very familiar with it there. And Brian Thrift, a lot of TTBCs there, and then Alton Jones Jr. is also from that Texas area and has spent some time out there. So,
all right, Frank in Michigan on the instant feedback. I'm actually working on that to address that question. So let me see what I can come up with today. And he brings up a good point, though. If somebody was to test positive for the coronavirus on Major League Fishing, I think they'd be done.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a wrap.
Yep.
But I don't think that's the case, obviously, with them putting in plans to continue with the next 2 events in April in North Carolina and then here in Oklahoma at Grand Lake. So
it is the perfect
we
storm.
shall see. It is.
I mean,
really is.
It's crowds are almost at annoyance, it seems, at some. So now they're sitting there and go, we've trained for this for the past 2 years. Get away, everybody.
It's really kind of bizarre how things are working out and what the world is going through right now. All right, last thing, and then we'll take a break and come back with James Watson. I want to address, this dude ripped me to shreds. And normally I don't do this, but I'm going to bring this up. All right? And normally I don't.
It's not the first time he's ripped us to shreds.
I know, but normally I do not respond to things on YouTube. I just don't. But obviously with more time on my hands now and kind of in the studio for a long period of time now because of no school and no bowling and no nothing else, I started to read this. Look, I'm going to look dead in the camera. Scott Strong, I'm telling you right now, I did not call out Kevin Van Dam. I was crystal clear on that previous show that I did not call out Kevin Van Dam. All right? As an angler, as a fan, I wanted to know why he stuck with that particular bait for so long. That was it. I wasn't questioning what he did. I wasn't calling him out. I was like, man, as an angler and a fan, it would be cool to find out why he stuck with the jerkbait so long. Now, as for Kevin Van Dam being the greatest of all time, that is a debate that will take place
till the end of fishing.
Over and over and over and over. It's a matter of opinion. In my opinion, with the era that I grew up in, Kevin Van Dam is the greatest angler of all time.
Would you equate this to basically being like a guy is in a baseball game and the pitcher comes in and he keeps throwing inside fastballs that are getting jacked out of the park, but he keeps going back inside to the same guy that's jacking him out, and the announcer goes, I wonder why he keeps pitching him inside. He clearly has a beat on that pitch. Yeah. Not criticizing him, just, I mean, obviously there has to be a strategy behind that.
Yeah.
Now, here was the other question that brought to mind, because I didn't get to watch any of the KV, so he's catching non-scorables, right?
Right.
And they got, what, a 2-pound minimum?
And the one thing he did say was he was catching a bunch of overs.
Over 1 pound? Was he catching
over 2 pounds.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
In practice.
In practice.
But during the tournament, this would be the effect of the 2-pound weight minimum here.
Yeah.
Was he catching a bunch of those fish in the tournament that were between 1 pound and 2 pounds?
Yes.
2-pound minimum's kind of working.
Yeah.
2-pound minimum's kind of working, Mark.
Yeah, I agree.
Because how many do you think he would have had? Between 1 pound and 2 pounds, where you're on Lake Fork.
I mean, I don't know, because they didn't have the camera on him the majority of the time.
But you did see him catch several.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you're dead on. I think it is working. But come on, Scott. I'm just saying, as a fan, do you not want to know what is going through the mind of one of the greatest anglers of all time? That's all I was saying. And I know you gave me some crap, trying to compare it to the other thing. But, I mean, do you not want to know, Matt? Are you not curious why that situation was that way?
Well, I mean, you've seen what he's done on the jerkbait, and by the time you're committed to it, maybe he didn't have anything else that was working. He's not a big sight fisherman. There were numerous guys that said that they were having trouble catching fish by fishing and not looking at them.
Yeah.
I've seen KVD sight fish 1 or 2 times in all the years that I was out there covering it.
Yeah.
He was getting bit on it. In this format, you don't see have you noticed in the MLF, you don't see a lot of guys making drastic changes throughout the day. The guys who catch
You did this tournament.
Yeah.
You did this tournament.
As a whole, though, typically you get with something and you run with it, right? Yeah. Because by the time you keep adjusting and adjusting, your day's over. So here you've got KVD who's like, okay, not super great. I mean, he is a great sight fisherman. That's not his favorite thing to do.
No,
folks.
I'm with you. He loves the jerkbait.
Yeah, can get bit on a jerkbait, knows the potential's there, knows that it's not a super heavy weight to actually get there, and rolls with it because we've seen what he can do in multiple MLF Cups prior to the BPT, where nothing. Oh, what's wrong with KVD? And then he crushes everybody by 40 pounds at the end. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
A lot of fish in post spawn. Look what Brandon Coulter's doing. Some guys catching them on the floating worm. So now you're taking a crowded lake with hundreds of boats on it that have been beat up shallow and flipping.
Yeah.
And now you're targeting a group of fish that you don't know where they are because they've moved out over the last 5-6 days that you've been fishing since you went there. Conditions have changed.
Yeah.
And he runs across a wad of those post spawners, and now it's holy cow. Van Dam threw a jerkbait for 6 hours and caught 50 pounds in the last hour.
Maybe. But is there not curiosity there and just intriguement on why that was the situation? That's my question to you.
No, I hear it. It's a fair question.
All right. Hence, that's why I said what I said. But as far as the argument on who the greatest angler of all time is, dude, we could have that discussion.
Why it's an argument.
Yeah, for 30 days.
Yeah.
So that's a matter of opinion, and really it kind of depends on the era that you grew up in and when you became a fan of this sport and when you started to follow this sport and who's near and dear to you. I will say this. One of the most amazing things that I ever saw Kevin do was when he was throwing a jerkbait on, of all places, Ross Barnett. You remember that?
Yeah, in the lily pads.
In the lily pads. Who's going to do that? And he was smashing them. So, just my opinion, just my feelings. He is the greatest of all time, and we'll leave it at that. But, Scott, I think it was a little harsh on me.
So here's here's the next deal then. So the Elite Series. When are we going to see Elite Series action again? So we have the Chickamauga March 19th through 22nd postponed. We have the College Series at Hartwell postponed. Now, as of right now, I'm looking at their schedule that's updated. April 2nd through 5th, Lake Eufaula is not postponed, but the April 9th through 11th Open on Louisville is postponed, which we said yesterday by the city of Louisville. Does Eufaula happen in between there, April 2nd through 5th? And then
I say no.
The very next weekend after the Open's postponed, and I know Dave said it's chaos out there in South Carolina where he is. The very next weekend, all those guys, April 16th through 19th on Santee Cooper.
I say no. The month of April is completely wiped out, dude.
Even the Bass Nation Western Regional on Meade in Las Vegas, April 29th through May 1st.
Yeah.
Gone?
Not gone.
Postponed?
Postponed.
College Series, May 6th through 8th in Cumberland, Kentucky.
That's dicey.
And then the Eastern Open, May 7th through 9th at Cherokee.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this right now, Matthew. This whole thing is because of the unknown.
Okay.
All right? And nobody knows. You can't sit here. I can't sit here. Nobody can sit here and say, yes, these events are going to happen, because this is a complete unknown as to when this thing is going to start to flatten out.
But hopefully, this would just be cruel. They fish them 2.5 days, they cancel 3, and then the first one back is on the Sabine. Come on.
Yeah.
May 29th through June 1st. And then I look down at the end of their schedule, and they've got they're booked. I mean, they've got 2 events in July. Obviously, ICAST hope may possibly in July. 4 or 5 events in August and 2 in September. But it does leave sometime in September, October, and November. Will we be covering Elite Series competition in November, Mark? What is your gut say?
I hope so. I would say yes.
That would be cool.
It would be cool. It really would be. I love fall fishing, so I would like to see what these guys do during the fall. All right, Jake in Ohio, great question. Who would be on the Mount Rushmore of professional tournament fishing?
We've done that before, haven't we?
Yeah, well, that's something we could talk about tomorrow, because we're going to have the Sunline Hotline
We might
show.
have done industry.
Yeah, I think that's
not
what we did.
just fishermen.
Yeah. We'll get into that tomorrow. All right, going to take a break. Coming back with James Watson here on a Tuesday. Everybody stay tuned.
The ultimate fishing system starts with Lowrance HDS Live. Upgrade to HDS Live with a Ghost trolling motor, live sight transducer, or Structure Scan 3D, and get up to $500 cash back.
Yeah, you care about gear ratios, inches per turn, and ball bearings, but most importantly, you want reliability and dependability in the equipment you use. Luz doesn't cut corners when it comes to the gear they build. The new Speed Spool LFS is the best $99 reel in the market. Go see for yourself.
We've paired one of the most iconic hulls in the history of bass boats with a proven lineup of trusted accessories. We're bringing you best-in-class value and performance, leaving others in your wake. Turnkey value, turnkey performance. The Pantera 2 is an overachiever in the 19-foot category. Once you hit the throttle, you'll feel the rush, and there's no looking back.
Kevin, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just filling in for Billy.
I need a 660 shad crankbaits in the Series 5 model.
We're out.
You're not out. You got all kinds of them right there.
We're out.
Kevin, I need 6.
Have a lollipop.
I do not want a lollipop.
Have a lollipop.
Do you have it in sexy shad color?
At Duckett Fishing, we have assembled the top pros in the country to help us design rods to give you a competitive advantage. Castability, strength, durability, action, sensitivity, weight and balance, and consistency. Combine that with the best warranty in the industry, and you have rods that are pro-driven.
Ducket Fishing, pro-driven.
I want to share to you a new product we got coming out from Sunline. This is the FC leader size spools that we have now. We've gotten a lot of requests for this. A lot of you guys use fluorocarbon for leaders only, myself included. And one of the problems you have is when you have a 200-yard spool, that might last you 2, 3, 4 years. You might even lose it before you even get done with the spool. So we've gone to a little smaller spool. These are 50-yard spool sizes. You know, that way you're not holding your line on forever. You can keep your line fresh, use it when you can, stores real easily in the boat. We got all of our popular line sizes that you're used to with our Sniper from 5 to 14 pound. If you guys are looking for a line that you're only tying for a leader, go check out Sunline FC Leader 100% fluorocarbon and give it a try.
All right, we are back on a Tuesday. Mark and Matt coming at you. Hopefully 5 days this week. Tomorrow, what is today? I don't even know what today is. Today, Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday,
All
March
right.
18th,
All right.
2020.
Tomorrow we're going to do a Sunline Hotline show. And then on Friday, we're going to have Gene Gilliland in studio to talk everything fisheries management, fisheries biology, and whatever else you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, there's actually a cool thing that just went up on Bassmaster 2 days ago. It's the 2020 AFCO Bass Nation grant proposals that are being accepted, and Gene is kind of in charge of that. But it basically AFCO, they've got the 10% pledge with the Shed family on being super active in habitat enhancement.
Yeah,
I know we're sponsored by them, but they're really doing good stuff, Mark.
They really are.
And personally, I know some of the sheds. I mean, dude, Casey was in the booth in a t-shirt. You'd have never known he owned the company at the Classic. But fish habitats, cleanup, aquatic invasive species stuff, protecting, enhancing boat ramps, any of that stuff. So Gene's going to come in and talk about how you can get your bass club to actually get some money through this grant to make your lake a better place when we're allowed to go to those lakes again.
All right, I want to let everybody know, in case you missed the early part of the show, Hank Cherry was scheduled to be on this show today. We have rescheduled him for next Wednesday, 1 week from today. He had some other things going on, and when I talked to him yesterday, we thought in the best interest of everybody involved, to have him on the show next week was really the best thing to do. So Hank Cherry next Wednesday, along with other stuff that I'm working on getting booked right now. So what's cool is the man from Table Rock Lake, Mr. James Watson, who had an outstanding tournament at Lake Fork. I gave him a call and he said, yeah, man, I'm going to be driving home and we're going to welcome him to the show, Matthew.
13th place finish on Lake Fork.
Had a lot of time on the stream too. A lot of FaceTime.
Yeah. I think he might have been bed fishing with a frog at one point. I don't know if I was looking at that bait wrong or something, but I really want to talk to these guys about a lot of the guys were, right on top of the fish. And they said that's the only way we can get them to bite because it was muddy and they were right on top. But at one point, I think he might have been bed fishing with a frog.
A lot of kneeling too. Did you notice that? A lot of guys getting super low.
Did not notice that.
You're kidding me.
No.
Dude. Every single time they had a camera on somebody that was bed fishing, they were down on their knees.
Did you see A.D. Montgomery was literally dangling a buzzbait over the side of the boat in the water, like bed fishing for one? It was crazy.
Yeah. It was pretty neat. Pretty neat. All right, let's bring him in now. James, you there, man?
I'm here.
All right, man. Thanks for taking time out. I know it's been a while since you've been home, isn't it?
I've been home 3 days since the Super Bowl.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's not very many days.
Not very many days.
Yeah, well, and I might not be the Bassmaster Classic, but I do have a pretty loyal fan base.
Yes, you do.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
So, dude,
I didn't win the Classic this year.
Nah, it's all right, man. It's all right. Thought it'd be a good thing to get you on, give you props, talk a little bit about how your week went down at Lake Fork, and just some outstanding fish catches taking place during the Major League Fishing stop at Lake Fork. So what can you tell the fans about how your week went?
Well, practice, my typical practice is I don't have a clue what's going on. I'm really nervous about this. This was the worst anxiety I ever had the night before a tournament. I'm seriously so spun out before it ever started. Late in the second day of practice, I saw a couple of fish on beds. I flipped my little worm over there. They were paired up fish, and one of them immediately come out and eat it. I went to another paired up fish, and then one immediately come out and I didn't let them eat it. And I'd say, these things are going to bite real easy. I wonder how many more fish are on the beds that I did not bother looking for in practice. So I kind of missed the boat on that, guys, to be honest with you.
At one point, did you throw a frog on a bed fish, James, or did I see that completely wrong?
No, I probably did. I just reached down and grabbed whatever I can to make them spin out like I spin out. Oh, my God, look at that. There's a worm. Oh, my God, there's a lizard. Oh, there's a spinnerbait. Oh, there's a chatterbait. Oh, my God, there's a frog. Oh, man, there's a prop bait. Oh, my, just whatever you can grab.
And it seemed like a lot of guys, you included, were pretty dang close to these fish on the bed, and they didn't care.
Well, they do care a little bit. Of course, you want to stay off them as far as you can, but numerous times I'd be looking for a fish that I actually found not in practice, but I started practice on day one of the tournament late in the afternoon. I'm sorry, on day two of the tournament to get to the knockout round, and started finding more fish on beds. And unless you physically go up there and mark or have a really, really good memory and a good eye, you can't really remember which side of that clump that bass is sitting on. And numerous times, that's probably why you saw a lot of guys on top of them. You just couldn't see them real well. So,
yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, is how difficult was it to see those fish on the beds, James?
In places it was, guys. It was difficult. And a few fish had this glow about them like a tilapia at Okeechobee would have.
Really?
It was really weird.
Had you ever seen that before?
Yeah. Not in that that radiation type glow in a bass before. No.
Interesting.
So
let me ask you this about
it. Was interesting.
Obviously, they have some massive tournaments at Fork, 1,000-boat tournaments at Fork. But when it comes to professional bass tournaments, it's been a fishery that has been left off of the schedule due to the slot limit that they have there. We've seen the Elite Series go there for Texas Fest, where they do the best five, but they weigh in. We've seen the TTBC there, now MLF here, the BPT. From a professional tournament standpoint, how does Lake Fork set up compared to all the other lakes in the country? Is there enough water there? Is it big enough? It seems like it was really crowded out there for some people, and then other guys, it seemed like it was smooth sailing.
When it really matters, in tournament fishing, everything matters. And everything, in my perspective, is magnified 1 million times. So, for example, it's not big enough. It's not big enough. Is it a great lake? Yes. But it's not big enough to keep from wanting to murder people. All right?
Oh, jeez.
So yesterday morning, I take this 15-minute leisurely idle through God only knows how many stumps, the most atrocious jungle atmosphere ever known to mankind, only to turn the corner and see a guy who didn't know shit from Shinola about bass fishing up right against the reeds where two of my best bedding bass were. Now, what's the odds?
Wow.
I seriously, you can't bull the guy, he's just out there fishing. But I mean, like, why can't he be like 15 yards over there? And why did I have to idle 15 minutes back here to notice that he's already screwed that up for me? That was every time we turned around.
Wow.
How many boats do you think were on the lake? Just a guesstimate between recreational, kayak tournament, major league fishing, people watching you guys. At one point, how many bass anglers do you think were on Lake Fork this week during the knockout rounds?
It might not seem like much to you guys, but I would say every bit of 300 boats.
Mm-hmm. 300's a lot.
That was Friday and Saturday. The Friday and Saturday. Monday, not so bad, guys. Not so bad.
Mm-hmm. Is Lake Fork have a lot of dead water on it? I've only been down there a couple times. I went out with James Niggemeyer once, and it was freaking awesome. We were catching them on chatterbaits, skipping them under docks. But is that the whole lake pretty fertile, or is it like, there's 3 or 4 areas where most of the guys catch them in?
I think there's 3 or 4 areas, to be honest with you. Yeah, my only other experience other than this week, guys, was a TTBC that Combs won. I qualified through the PAA, the now defunct PAA, the good old days. And it was an offshore deal in the summertime. I wanted to shoot myself in the brain.
God, we're violent this morning, James.
I know I'm full of anger and discontent after my inability to capture a top 10 discovery. So
you finished 13th.
Anyway,
that's that
13th.
PAA is the. That's that tournament trail Steve Kennedy won like 17 boats in a 3-year period and then just put them all in his backyard, if you remember that.
Up it.
Hey.
So I had some good PA tournaments.
Yeah. Hey, a couple of people on the instant feedback want to know if you caught anything on a plopper or if you even threw it.
No, I did throw a plopper. I committed to the plopper and buzzbait for quite a few hours. And it did not get but one bite, and it wasn't worth catching. I caught one fish on a frog the first day of the tournament, and I guess while I'm watching some live reruns of live. I guess there was some big frogfish caught. I missed the boat on that. I caught one on a frog. And yesterday I caught one on a floating worm, blind casting, and I caught 3 other fish blind casting my little worm. The rest of them were sight fish.
James, do you think the heyday of the plopper, the novelty of it is worn off now? I mean, it's 15 when that thing really came in. We've had 5 years now. We saw kind of how the Alabama rig went from the only bait to use during this time to where now it's a tool. Like, do you think some of these fish 4 or 5 years into this now are getting kind of used to it to where it's more of a situational bait than a everyday topwater bait?
Yes, they're more acclimated to it. And you're seeing the decline of people committed to throwing it, with the exception of me. I will still throw it all day long, no matter what. But later in the year, not this early. I've never been much to throw it early in the year. I'm more of a buzzbait guy early in the year.
What water temp? When do you start throwing it?
When the water temperature reaches 50 degrees, I pick it up. When the water temperature gets to about 53, definitely 55, I really pick it up.
Would you like to take this opportunity to talk about your new HD worldwide buzzbait?
Yes, the Tackle HD worldwide buzzbait. You know, it's a collective version of everything I ever wanted in a buzzbait, guys. That's what it boils down to. I got the right gap between the blade and the hook, so when they mouth it, you can catch them. I got a big collar so the skirt stays on. I got lead barb for a trailer, and I've added a wire bait keeper, so if you did not want to use a skirt and put a toad on there, it'll stay up there and hold real well. And if you don't want the head knock, which a lot of times of the year I don't, like now, I'd rather have a squeak and a really subtle sound to my buzzbait. I just flex the wire up a little bit so that blade does not hit my head. And quarter, 38.5 ounce, and we kept the color simple. And 3 blade colors: white or silver, gold, and black blade.
You're a big fan of the black buzzbait, I know, and the black plopper, especially in the fall. But in the early time of the year, this time 60s going into the shad spawn, will you still throw a black, or do you pretty much go with the silver blade white during the earlier in the year and then transition to the darker colors towards the late summer and fall?
I swear that you've been to one of my numerous seminars.
No, I haven't. I really haven't. I just was at.
My MO, guys. This is. There's no scientific expertise or knowledge about this. It's just something that always works for me, and it doesn't need to be reinvented. In the springtime, I throw a silver blade, sometimes a white blade, and a white skirt. Okay? Silver blade, white skirt, 99% of the time. As the water warms up into the summer, I'll go to a white toed silver blade. I just like that toad because it's easier to skip under things in shaded areas. And then when the water, the fall starts around mid-September, I'll go and move to a black skirt with a gold blade. That's it.
All right, what kind of line? They want to know what kind of line you use with your buzzbait.
Oh, good question. And this is where I think that a lot of people miss their hookup opportunities. All right, a lot of people say, "Man, same way with a horny toad, flopper and buzzbait." A lot of people use, in my opinion, the wrong size of rod and the wrong line, and they jerk. You don't need to jerk. I use a 50-pound Maxima braid in open water, like going down bare banks. All right, it's an 8-carrier braid. It's super limp. It does lose its color, but that's all right. I got a marker for that. But you can't hear it, all right? Which, to me, I just don't like to hear coated braid coming through my guides. It's not good for your equipment either. But it's super limp, and I can throw it 100 miles. If I'm around boat docks and cables, I go to 65-pound braid just for that added security, and it could probably get away with 65 everywhere, to be honest with you guys. So if I had one choice, I'd go with 65-pound braid. Maxima is the best braid, in my opinion, because it's not coated. I don't like coated braid.
If I had to explain it for someone who hasn't seen it, it's kind of and correct me if I'm wrong here, but it's kind of a combination of the best elements of a booger man, a squeaky dolphin, and a crocagator.
Yes, all rolled up in one.
That helped a ton there, Matthew.
I mean, if you're a buzzbait guy,
yeah,
that makes sense, right?
Yeah. Okay, so can I ask it?
Yeah, why not?
Can I ask a stupid question? Because I haven't seen it, James. Does it have?
You're good at asking stupid questions.
I am. I'm very good. All right. Does it have a straight shaft in the buzzbait, or is it offset?
It's straight.
Okay. Why straight and why not offset?
Like a Cavitron or something.
Yeah.
Because I want my bait up high in the water, close to my blade, so it can hit the head.
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
Ask James the KVD question, Mark.
What?
Because he fished it. He was on fork.
Well, no, I mean, there's a lot of people out there. Well, I take that back. A few people that are questioning what I said on yesterday's show. I was intrigued and just totally perplexed as to why Kevin Van Dam continued to throw the jerkbait. And my question is I just want to know why. I wasn't like calling him out.
No, but Watson fishes one bait all day long. Like, he's the king of it. I called him after the coast on Lake of the Ozarks, and he's like, how long did you throw it for? I said 7. He goes, should have thrown it for 8. So he's a perfect guy to ask the question to.
So why would somebody, especially in the situation from the score tracker standpoint, why would somebody continue when they haven't had success all day long doing the same thing?
Did he have success the day before doing it?
Yes. Yeah. And he said on the stream that he caught him using the jerkbait in practice really good.
Well, my only thing I can say to that, and again, let's rewind just a little bit. Let me throw this little caveat in there. That's Kevin Van Dam, and I'm James Worldwide Watson, and there's a big difference in money earnings and trophies. Okay, but I know why I would keep throwing it, because I absolutely have zero confidence in catching a bass any other way. Would be why my hard head would keep doing that.
Okay, but isn't versatility a big part of any guy's successful game out there, James?
Like I said, his trophy case is larger than my house, and you guys have seen my house.
It's a large house. It's a big house.
My trophy case, not so big. All right, it's like one little area of my mantle. So, but again, he probably didn't. He probably had zero success on other things, and he thought any minute now, all I need is like 7 or 8 pounds. If I go try to make something happen on the versatility side of things, I could miss 3 bites on this jerkbait, and I'm back in the cut again.
Right.
That's how you got to look at Score Tracker, guys.
It's a different game? Is it a different game, James, in that situation?
Guys, it's a completely different game. You know, this is what's fun about this, and this is why I'm going to say a few things, and a lot of people might think, oh, that's chicken shit. You shouldn't do that or whatever. But it's a total different game, all right? When you know what you have to have in order to advance to the next day, you have the ability to make decisions that you did not even think about in a 5-fish tournament derby. Okay? You can go out, everybody can say, oh, a swing for the fence, or this is a Hail Mary. When you literally know that you've got to catch a 2-pound, 2-ounce bass versus a 7-pound, 8-ounce bass, you make decisions differently. So you're getting the clue that you need to make those adjustments or not make the adjustments. So I screwed up the second day of the tournament where I thought I was a genius, okay? I was 49 pounds after the first day. It ended up taking almost 51 pounds to make the knockout round. So all I needed to do was catch 1 bass. I did not know that. I thought I had a chance to win and advance the championship round, so I went for it. Oh, and when I found out that I was 12 pounds behind of making a win in the day, and 20 minutes later I'm 29 pounds from winning the day, that's when I immediately made the decision to stop fishing and go look for bedding bass in areas that I hadn't been to yet because I knew I would need them for the next day. I came up short of finding 4 bass that I needed, guys, to advance. 4.
All right. Hey, Frank in Michigan wants to know, is the color of the bait just more of a confidence thing, or does it really matter in your opinion?
Confidence, guys, confidence. My top water regiment consists of white and black. I mean, my horny toad game consists of white, black, gray ghost. If I go to grass areas like Okeechobee or any grass at all, I don't throw any of those 3 colors. I throw a June boat. So you got a lot of things that we as fishermen get carried away with, and we don't really need to be. You need to keep it simple.
All right, Dave wants to know, he says, please ask James what his MOS was when he was in the military.
Oh, my MOS, when I got out, I was a 62 Juliet, which is a light heavy equipment operator or heavy equipment operator. I was a 62 November. I was a heavy equipment engineer and air assault, jungle expert, drill sergeant, Audie Murphy, just about everything you can do except sapper leader. I didn't go to Ranger school, but I was an engineer, and I blew stuff up.
All right, there you have it, James. Let's see here. Can you give us your thoughts on, obviously with everything taking place, what are your thoughts about the next two events?
My thought is, I think it'd be cool if we would switch, because Raleigh's going to be more sensitive to the coronas. I think we should switch Grand Lake and Raleigh. I think Grand Lake would be receptive on receiving us. What do you guys think?
I don't know. It kind of depends on the cities and communities. Now, we were talking in the beginning how one of the team tournaments that's going out of Eufaula, they had all these stuff in place, and they were like, "Yeah, no, not going to happen." So
the team tournament.
Yeah, but the city nixed it.
Oh yeah. That worries me about Raleigh.
Do you guys talk about that? Were you guys talking about that this week? Were you focused on the fishing? I mean, what was the kind of precautions that MLF, the BPT put into place, and like what's the talk among you guys about this?
Yeah, well, it's a good question, Matt. You always come up with good questions.
Yeah, unlike Mark.
Nothing against you, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kidding you, Mark. We had a survey. They put a survey out to us anglers saying, "Hey, the simple one. You either respond with, we do want to proceed, or we do not want to proceed with the Raleigh." And the largest consensus from anglers was proceed. The largest consensus from boat officials was proceed. So now we have to leave it up to the higher-ups and the community receiving us to say yay or nay. So that's why I think if we got on the horn and we called Grove, I bet Grove would receive us right now.
Wow. It's just, you're kind of speechless, man, dealing with so many things in the world right now, and I don't know what to say, James. It's a mess. It really is.
It is. I'm no doctor. I played one, but I'm not one. This stuff's scary.
Yeah. So right now, what is your plan? To head home, get a little bit of rest, and then, unless you hear something different, head to North Carolina when?
Head to North Carolina. I guess it would be next Saturday or Sunday or Monday.
The very end of March.
Yeah, Matt, were you going to fish the Plains Toyota Series this year?
No, the Central Opens for me, and they already canceled Louisville. The city of Louisville canceled the first Open in Westville, but I know all of the Toyota Series are postponed as well.
Yeah.
You were going to fish that, weren't you?
Yes, I am. I paid my entry fee during the tournament the other day. I checked my emails and said, "Hey, you need to pay if you're going to be in this," and got confirmed. And then yesterday received an email saying, they postponed that. Lake of the Ozarks, they postponed all the BFLs. I was going to fish a BFL on Ouachita this weekend. And then do a seminar in Springfield, and then go to Lake of the Ozarks Sunday night.
Wow.
But now you'll just be sitting in the hot tub.
Just sitting in my hot tub, chilling, doing things that JMFW Worldwide does on a daily basis.
They're biting on Table Rock, though, aren't they? Haven't you guys had a really good winter and early spring on Table Rock?
Table Rock is I'm only speaking from what my friends have told me. Table Rock's been 10 times better than Lake of the Ozarks. this year, which is odd. So, Lake of the Ozarks has not been pushing out the weight. And speaking of that, like Mark Weezy and Kelly Power won the Ozark Mountain Team Trail 2 weekends ago at Lake of the Ozarks, which had well over 100 boats, 18 pounds.
Wow.
That usually doesn't even get you a "Hey, thanks for showing up" trophy.
Wow. Interesting. All right, man. One more question, James. What were you going to say? I'm sorry, man. What were you going to say?
No, I'm sorry. With that too, have you guys investigated tagfishing.us? It's an incentive program, side pot money.
Yeah, we actually had Kelly on the show.
Okay. He won. Him and Mark actually won tag money last weekend at Lake of the Ozarks. Josh Ray from Arkansas won back-to-back
That dude's
$5,000 tag incentive program.
I like that dude. Josh Ray's one of my favorite regional anglers. I got to know him in one of the Bass Nation Championships. That dude freaking catches them.
Dude, he's a freaking hammer.
He just walks around just like in a T-shirt, ratty hat, just comes in with 18 to 22 everywhere. Dardanelle, I mean, it doesn't matter where he is. Yeah. Then he gets online posts. Fortunate enough to get the W again. I mean, yeah, he's good.
Yeah. He's won $10,000 in tag money, $5,000 back-to-back weekends.
Wow.
So we need people to really look into that so we can keep this program alive. If we don't have more participation, last year we paid out more money than we brought in. If we don't have participation, this program will go away. And you got guys like Dustin Blevins from the Ozarks who wins damn near everything. He doesn't even bother getting in tag. He's left $10,000 on the table this last month. Brian New won $5,000 winning Kissimmee. Jamie Rampy last year out near Hartwell, I think he won $15,000 in that area. Justin Kimmel from Bass University, he won a bunch of money last year, just to name a few. So, guys, look into tagfishing.us and sign up. It's good money.
Very cool. Hey, on the instant feedback, Matt in Missouri just posted that Table Rock State Park is shut down and all tournaments canceled.
I don't. Yeah.
Watson wants to voice his opinion, but he also wants to be somewhat politically correct.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to get that shit.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to live to be 300, maybe 400 years old anyway, but I don't want to be slowed down for a couple of months because of the coronas.
Yeah. Well, dude, I'll say this much. It was quite entertaining this week watching the live stream on Major League Fishing, and hopefully the events will continue, but whatever it is, and if they do continue, it will hopefully bring a little bit of happiness and relief for at least some fans out there to be able to watch you guys perform on the water, and North Carolina should be lights out if it happens.
Oh yeah, yes. Guys, can you imagine? I want to fish. I want to fish because I want to capitalize on junkie sports fans who don't want to watch reruns of the NCAA championship game.
Yeah.
All right? We're going to pick up some new – I think it'll help the sport. I don't care what organization you're a part of. If you're a bass fisherman, it's going to help the sport if we continue to fish, as long as we're not jeopardizing communities and old people and their health.
Yeah.
Yep. 10 guys left on Lake Fork today. You got a buddy in there, Jeff Sprague. Well, you're buddies with everybody.
Yeah. Hey, did you fish? Did you practice at Lake Athens?
I did. Yeah.
What can you tell the listeners?
Good. There's going to be some side fish caught there. It's a tiny, tiny lake, guys. I mean, it's as small as your guys' Murray. It's probably smaller than Murray.
Wow.
There's stubble. There's some aquatic vegetation. There's boat docks, standing pole docks. Going to be some sight fishing, and the water's really clear there too, guys.
All right. Well, it's going to kick off here just in a few minutes, so we will check it out. All right, James, man, be careful going home, and thank you for coming on at a last minute notice there, and best of luck to you, man.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Big fans of yours, and call me anytime. And thanks for everybody that tuned in.
All right, man. Be careful, James.
Okay, see you guys.
All right, see you. There you have it, James Watson. And once again, dude, just strange times. Very, very strange times. And I think
I love how boat ramps are suddenly a hotbed for contagion.
Yeah.
I won't be picking up lizards off the ground anymore at the boat ramp. No used plastics for me.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Do you think they can reschedule all these postponed tournaments?
It's going to be really hard. And especially if this thing goes longer and longer and longer and longer. But, as we had Ken Duke on yesterday, is there going to be anybody out there that's going to be able to afford to buy stuff and go fishing?
They said 1 in 5 families already have been affected job-wise because of this. That's 20%.
Well, so much of the U.S. economy is on the service portion of the industry. Or industries, service industries.
Mm-hmm.
So, very, very tough, challenging times ahead.
What do you do? So I got a call to see if they're even open, but I need some more spinner baits. The only spinnerbait I like to throw up there at Lucky Lure in Oklahoma City. There's part of me that feels bad. Am I doing something bad for society if I go stop by the tackle store and pick up some spinnerbait? Should I try to build some at my home because I've just been going? You see what I'm saying? What do I do there, Mark? Do I call them if they're open? That's a small business. If people aren't going there, that's a local tackle store.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that, dude.
But think about Lucky Lure. That's a local tackle store in Oklahoma City that relies on XFLs and nickels and BFLs and team tournaments and club tournaments and regional and local events, right?
Yeah.
Well, if none of those are happening, dude, you don't go in there and spend less than $100 getting ready for that tournament. And they have all the stuff that guys catch them on Grand.
So
and
are you going?
Eufaula and on Gibson. I'll call them after the show and see if they're still open. I'll go up there and pick up a couple.
Yeah.
But should I feel bad about that? Should I not go do that?
No.
Is that a non-essential? It's kind of essential to me in the fishing realm, but in the grand scheme of things.
You're fine. So
I hope they have some left.
I don't know. I went back to the store yesterday, and it was calm and non-chaotic, and just things are just really weird now. So we're going to continue doing this thing, as many shows as we can do during the week. Tomorrow, Matt is going to be live from Tulsa. We've got this situation set up to where we can do the Sunline Hotline show. If for some reason technology fails and we run into an issue, I will make sure that I have a post out there and we will let everybody know. But bottom line is, we want to hear from you folks tomorrow. This show has always been about the fans and the anglers, and we want to hear from the fans tomorrow. Just if there's something that you want to talk about, you're going to have the capabilities to call in on the Sunline Hotline. But I'd really like to keep it positive and share some stories that have happened both on and off the water, from a funny standpoint, from a fishing standpoint. Just kind of make tomorrow's show very, very positive. Sound good, Matthew?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I kind of want to. I love hearing the sketchy run stories in a safe manner, but getting into those spots.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. Best sketchy run story for the call-in tomorrow.
Yeah. You giving something away?
I got a spool of Sunline. I'm using a newer braid on my spinning rods at a Sagai X Plasma.
Yeah.
10-pound test.
Yeah.
I got a spool of that for the best sketchy run story. Call in tomorrow.
Okay.
That's fair, isn't it?
Yeah. I've got something I'll give away for the best customization of a bait story. How about that?
This is how I customize my
Yeah.
bait.
How about that?
Does it have to be a topwater?
No, it does not have to be a
What are you giving
topwater.
away?
I don't know. I'll find
I
something
got a
around
spool
here.
of Sunline.
Yeah, I got something around here I'll give away. Not an old
big bite?
basketball jersey or something.
How about some big bite sight fishing baits?
I'm good with that. That's what we'll do.
All right.
All right, Sunline Hotline show tomorrow. I want to thank James Watson. Don't forget, folks, Gene Gilliland on Friday, and then we have rebooked Hank Cherry for next Wednesday, and then I will be working on shows for the next couple of weeks here today and tomorrow. Everybody out there, be safe. Hug your family. That's it. We are out of here.